Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 6, and today we're taking a look at the 2006 Dodge Ram SRT-10. So this is a vehicle that was produced between 2004 and 2006 with 10,046 units being built, and it was based on the standard Ram 1500. And this is a regular cab version, although a quad cab was also available, but personally I think that version looks a bit ungainly. Much prefer this regular cab version. And yeah, this is basically a high performance version of that Ram 1500, but because it's got a massive increase in power and torque due to its much larger engine, it has had to have massive amounts of overhaul to it to keep it on the road. So it's got a fully hydroformed Dodge Ram frame, which was used alongside a custom tuned suspension, which lowered the ride height by 1 inch in the front and 2.5 inches in the rear. So it's got Bilstein shock absorbers, performance tuned springs, and unique aerodynamic aids, which were all used to help the vehicle deal with the increase in power and speed. It's also got a functional hood on the hood scoop that featured a wider power bulge and that honeycomb grille hood scoop, which aids in cooling and heat exhaustion as well, because there's no point ramming a lot of air into your engine bay if you're not able to then exhaust the heat that is generated by the engine. And but all of that actually is there to help in that. It's also got a spoiler that helps with airflow and provides a reduction in lift and drag. And on top of all that, it's got performance Pirelli tyres, 10-spoke wheels from the Dodge Viper, twin exhausts, and larger brakes at the front and the rear. And being a pickup truck, you know, even though it's got that spoiler on it, it's still a more than practical vehicle in that regard. Although I would say the interior is typical American 2000s in that, yeah, it might have a lot of, you know, gadgets and such, but it looks extremely cheap and, yeah, a lot of nasty looking plastics and such, but you know, at least you got an engine start button. But yeah, that's basically the coolest part of this vehicle outside on the interior. But you do have a 6-speed manual, as you can see there, which is kind of necessary to get the most out of this car, especially when you consider the humongous engine that this has under its hood or bonnet, as it is a 8.3 litre V10, which as you can see is from the Viper, as it says there, which produces 500 horsepower and 525 pounds-feet of torque, which is a huge amount of power for a pickup truck from the mid-2000s. You look at the F-150 Lightning, for instance, that wasn't even producing 400 horsepower, and yeah, all that power is going through the rear wheels as well. And in total, the car weighs 5,150 pounds. So yes, it's got a lot of power and torque, but it's also got a lot of weight, and all that power going through the rear wheels, which are obviously not weighed down by a lot in the way of weight, means that yeah, this car is a extremely tail happy, as you might well expect. So yeah. But you can also do some visual modifications for this car if you so wish. So you can change the front bumper to that. I imagine these are more of the standard Ram 1500 kind of things going on. Because doing the rear bumper also provides not only with a different spoiler, which helps it stand out, I guess, from the standard paintwork, but you can also put the Forza aero on or just remove it entirely. You can also do a new bumper on there as well, which grays it out. Again, I figured that the non-color coded bumper is what the standard Ram 1500 had. And yeah, I'm not sure if you can do the hood or not. Well, but we can do the side skirts if you so wish, which obviously reduce drag a little bit if you so need to get this car going any faster than it already does. But yeah, still a pretty formidable car. Yeah, it's not letting me do the hood. I doubt you can, but I'll check before we finish this review and see if we can. I'll just check it now. Why not? But yeah, this is still a pretty damn formidable car in terms of its power, and yeah, you can't. That's handy to know. But I guess the hood is already pretty pronounced as it is, so there's no real reason to change it anymore. But yeah, this is a formidable car in terms of its power. There's very few other cars out there that would have a V10 engine while, you know, being this kind of size and weight. Obviously, the Germans came out with some, more high-powered SUVs like the Volkswagen Touareg and the Audi Q7. And then in terms of smaller, more performance-oriented cars, you'd obviously have the BMW M5 a few years later. But yeah, in terms of pickup trucks, though, I can't think of any other vehicle that had this size of engine. Maybe there were some more that had more in the way of power, but just in terms of cubic capacity, I'm struggling to think of anything of this size. But nonetheless, let's get out onto the open road, or more specifically the Hokubu circuit, and see what this car can do. Right, here we are once again at the Hokubu circuit, and as per usual, we'll hear what the car sounds like, then we'll talk about it some more. So yeah, the Viper engine's always sounded good, and it's no different with this. But yeah, what isn't good is the fact that the rear wheels are constantly trying to gain traction, because obviously it's trying to deal with all that extra power and torque. And obviously it's not helped by the fact that very little amount of the weight is over the rear end, being a pickup truck, which has obviously always been the problem with such vehicles. And yeah, this is no different in that regard. But, it's still a pretty damn quick vehicle in terms of acceleration. 0 to 60 is dealt with in only 4.917 seconds. 0 to 111.9 seconds, and it goes to a top speed of 165. But it's definitely more of a straight line beast more than getting it around the track, because yeah, it is a little bit of a handful and certainly likes to slide around a lot. But that makes it fun in that regard. And even though I'm not particularly a fan of these massive pickup trucks, this is so stupid that it ends up swinging the other way into being, ridiculously fun. Certainly in comparison to more modern day pickup trucks, which are somehow even larger than this with even more power. But yeah, it's definitely a silly vehicle, but nonetheless one that I appreciate has been put onto this game. And yeah, it's actually the first ever time this has been in a Forza Horizon game. And we've not had this on any other Forza game since Forza Motorsport 4, with it only being in one game prior to that, in Forza Motorsport 3. So yeah, it's a real joy to finally have a Forza Motorsport 4 vehicle again in this game. We've obviously had some other ones from that game introduced in previous games, like the Lincoln Continental for instance, but yeah, I've always maintained that Forza Motorsport 4 had one of the best car lists for any Forza game, just due to the wide variety of vehicles on offer. And yeah, adding this to this game has just made this one even more varied. So yeah, really great vehicle, even if it is ridiculously stupid. But yeah, you can get this in the current festival playlist for only 20 points. It is well worth getting. Really going to look forward to driving this online and seeing what it can do. But even in stock form, it is still a bit of a riot to drive. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.